You guys, today, Caitlin Clark got fined $200. Kathy, what do you think you are accomplishing by that? What kind of message do you think you're accomplishing by doing? You're not even making an example out of her by fining her an exorbitant amount of money. You are literally making a joke out of yourself by fining her such a little.
The WNBA finds itself at the center of yet another controversial decision that perfectly encapsulates everything wrong with the league's leadership. This isn't your usual gripe about a missed call or a sketchy ref decision. No, this is the league flexing its muscles on its biggest star simply because she dared to speak the truth. It's almost as if calling out obvious issues has become a punishable offense in 2025.
Okay, and we know how this works because Sophie Cunningham has told us how this works. If you talk about the refereeing, if you talk about the officiating on the InstaFace, on the TikToks, on the Twitters, any of that social media, in the public, in the interview, if you mouth it in the shower, Kathy Engelbert will peek in and look around at you and point at you and be like, you're fined. Even though she won't clean up the officiating in her trash-ass league?
Caitlin Clark, the Indiana Fever's superstar guard who has basically become the face of women's basketball in the U.S., was slapped with a $200 fine for posting about refs. And get this, she couldn't stop celebrating her team's playoff triumph over the Atlanta Dream on Instagram, and that's what got her in trouble.
So during the game, we saw here, the Fever players celebrating. I would assume based on the reaction that this was after the Lexi Hull steal and everything. And Caitlin Clark on Instagram commented this: refs couldn't stop us. Elite bench mob. It wasn't for the lack of trying. Glad they're having fun and celebrating like no other teams. Will she get fined for saying that? Yeah, she got fined.
The timing is just wild. The Fever, against all odds, are on their deepest playoff run in nearly a decade. They shocked everyone by taking down the Las Vegas Aces in Game 1 of the semifinals, and instead of celebrating that historic moment, the WNBA decided it was the perfect time to show off its power over a social media post.
When you're on the WNBA's time, or the NFL's time, or the NBA's time, when you're on their time, criticizing the officials, calling out the officiating, I've seen players get fined for that. But when you're on your own time, well, now, other than Sophie Cunningham, Caitlin Clark seems to be the two players that come to my mind of players getting fined, criticizing the officials, doing it on their own time, quote unquote, off.
Rather than highlighting the incredible storylines pouring out of the playoffs, Commissioner Kathy Engelbert and her team are stuck policing Instagram, handing out fines for innocent commentary that millions of fans would probably share themselves. It's petty, tone-deaf, and frankly, embarrassing.
The hate is real. The hate is real, Kathy. I see you hating on us from a mile away, Kathy Engelbert. We all see it. You out here trying to fine Caitlin Clark. You out here fining the one person who's actually bringing money into this league. What a joke. You're mad that the Indiana Fever are here right now. Y'all didn't expect us to get this far. Y'all really didn't expect it. We got Sophie Cunningham exposing the whole league agenda. Exposing them. Caitlin Clark mocking them all on Twitter, all on Instagram, everywhere, because they are.
If you are enjoying, please subscribe. Let's break this down. After the Fever edged Atlanta 87-85 in Game 3 of the first round, Clark commented on the team's Instagram post about their bench with just two phrases: elite bench mob and refs couldn't stop us. That second comment, basically just 4 words capturing what everyone watching already knew, got her fined $200 by the league's so-called thought police. The absurdity here is absolutely staggering.
What world do we live in? I'm pretty sure she just said the refs can't stop them celebrating. This isn't even her going at refs. It's literally like if you say the word refs and you're an Indiana Fever player, you're going to get fined. If you say the word refs as a Fever player, the word referees has to be spoken, cannot be said by an Indiana Fever player, otherwise it's a fine. And the worst part is if they got fined for celebrating, So I don't think only she got fined, not everybody. There's other people on the floor, everything. She's not like they're celebrating. The timeout's been called or the foul's been called. It is what it is.
We're talking about a league that has spent the season systematically targeting its brightest star. And the moment she points out questionable officiating, in the mildest, most respectful way possible, they pounce like she's committed a cardinal sin. But here's the kicker. Clark isn't even playing in these playoffs. She's been sidelined since July with a groin injury, ending her second season after just 13 games. The woman who single-handedly boosted WNBA ratings, sold out arenas, and drew attention from millions has been forced to watch from the bench. And even from the sidelines, she's targeted just for stating a simple truth.
WNBA definitely got to play these women more. You got to pay these women more. Because what the hell is a $200 fine? This picture right here is giving me Mom Made Pizza Rolls vibes. Mom Made Pizza Rolls and everybody. Ah! Caitlin Clark was fined $200 for her comments she left on the IG post. She said refs couldn't stop us, meaning they advanced to the next round despite the refs trying to throw them a curveball every game, despite having to play against the refs. And the league said, "Oh hell no, you gotta run me that. You gotta run me that 200. You got to run me that 200."
Clark's response says everything. Got fined $200 for this LOL. She posted on X with laughing emojis, promising the bench mob would be louder than ever tomorrow. Her teammate Sophie Cunningham jumped in with playful sarcasm, joking that they should start a GoFundMe to cover the fine. These are professional athletes openly mocking the league's weak attempt at intimidation. To put this fine in perspective, Clark's base salary is $78,660, while her endorsements with Nike, Gatorade, and others add tens of millions to her bank account. In other words, this $200 fine is roughly 0.007% of her net worth. It's not about the money, it's about the principle. Instead of fixing officiating issues that have plagued the WNBA all season, the league punishes players who simply call them out. And Clark's comment wasn't even incendiary. No names, no cursing, no personal attacks. Just a simple acknowledgement that referees couldn't stop her team from winning.
Sophie has got jokes. She retweeted this. That's really going to break the bank for her. Starting a GoFundMe now. Sophie, you got jokes. Hun, you got jokes. Yeah, so Sophie Cunningham Central, all donut.
The timing couldn't be worse. While Clark is being penalized for her Instagram post, her team is prepping to face the Las Vegas Aces, fresh off Aisha Wilson winning her 4th MVP award. Think about that contrast. One star is celebrated for achievements, while another is fined for a mild, honest comment. It's a perfect example of the WNBA's priorities being completely backwards. Officiating has been a constant headache this season, from the infamous Fever Sun brawl to countless missed calls and inconsistent whistles. Coaches have been fined for calling out refs, players racked up technical fouls, and fan frustration has reached record levels. And yet, rather than address these systemic problems, the league goes after the messenger.
Rather than fining players for being excited on the bench and for letting it be known how trash your referees are, why don't you start fining referees for not calling fouls? Why don't you start putting that type of energy into making sure the game is played better? Why don't you do that? Why don't you do that? Because that would be nice. That would be nice if you could do that.
The pattern is obvious. Golden State coach Natalie Nakasi got fined for questioning officiating bias. Fever coach Stephanie White has repeatedly called out disrespectful calls. Even Las Vegas coach Becky Hammond, whose team often benefits from favorable calls, has noted poor officiating elsewhere. Still, the WNBA solution is fines, not reform. And Clark's team pushing through a depleted roster makes it even worse. With 6 key players sidelined, including Clark, the Fever reached the semifinals for the first time since 2015. They upset third-seeded Atlanta in a thrilling 3-game series and then stunned the Aces on the road, 89-73, with Kelsey Mitchell putting up 34 points, the second highest playoff total in Fever history.
What if this is the WNBA foreshadowing? We're seeing how you're acting on the bench. We're seeing how you're talking to the officials on the bench. We will tee you up. Now, whether I think that she deserves a tee for it or not, we're not even going to get into that. What if this is just saying, hey, we're going to tee you up if you continue to get at the officials, if you continue to talk up the officials, if you continue to show up the officials on the sideline, we're going to tee you up. We're not going to tee Sophie up.
This should have been a celebration of grit, teamwork, and the depth of talent in women's basketball. Instead, the WNBA chose to punish Clark for recognizing that the refs couldn't stop her team. It's petty, tone-deaf, and completely counterproductive to their stated goals of growth and visibility. Compare that to A'ja Wilson. She gets her record-breaking 4th MVP, represents the league's ideal player. Dominant, diplomatic, compliant, and everything Clark supports on Instagram ends up stealing the spotlight. Wilson struggled with a 6 of 22 shooting night while the Fever ran the game start to finish.
Aces couldn't stop her. I actually don't think that the Aces perimeter, honestly, defense or offense is very good, but specifically defense, they just couldn't find an answer for Kelsey. They were sending 2 on her at different times, but the Fever were running cutters. Kelsey was making her way to the rim. Now, I will say the Aces defense is scary around the rim because you have somebody like A'ja who averages over 2 blocks a game, and she's just there waiting and ready to block your shot if you get too close to the rim. But Kelsey Mitchell, I mean, she was just finding her spots, getting to her lanes, hitting those open threes, all of the...
The irony is rich. Clark is fined for pointing out the obvious, and then her team proves her point by dominating the league's golden child. The WNBA could have capitalized on this underdog narrative, but instead, it doubled down on petty fines. Intelligence and strategy have never been Kathy Engelbert's strong suit, and this fine perfectly encapsulates everything wrong with the league's approach to player relations. Protecting stars? Addressing officiating concerns? Not a priority. Control and image management? Absolutely. This is the same short-sighted thinking that has long hindered women's sports. Compliance over competitiveness, politics over performance, and bureaucracy over athlete welfare. And let's be real, all of this was preventable. Better ref training, accountability measures, and acknowledgement of the issues would have made Clark's comment unnecessary. Instead, the league shoots the messenger and doubles down.
That Caitlin Clark has generated for this league, all the tickets sold, all the jerseys, all the record revenue of the ratings, the television deal, and they're going to put their hands in her pocket for $200 for this. I'm like, hey man, do we need to call the armored guard? Do we need to have all this? And we need to deliver it directly to Kathy Engelbert's office. As a matter of fact, Caitlin Clark herself should be able to make an appearance, and she should do how Ice Cube did, when he used to run up into record labels. I'm saying, bring a bat. Caitlin, bring a bat. Bring the black.
Clark laughing off the fine and promising an even more energetic bench shows exactly why she's adored. She won't be intimidated by league bureaucracy, won't stay silent when the truth needs saying, and continues to lift her teammates even when she can't step on the court. These are the qualities that made her a transcendent college player and will cement her legacy as a transformative professional athlete. The real tragedy isn't the $200 fine. It's the WNBA squandering the incredible momentum she's created. The most popular player in league history, a team making an improbable playoff run, and storylines that should capture national attention. Instead, petty fines over social media posts steal the focus from what should be a historic moment.
It is madness. It is madness. And I mean this. Like, the amount of people are like, oh, I hate this team. It's like, why? They're excessively celebrating. They're excessively celebrating. They're not there talking down on other teams. They're not doing the Alyssa Thomas. They're not doing a Phoenix Mercury and shit talking other teams' fans. They're not doing Phoenix Mercury and shit talking the other team's players, their coaches, their all of this stuff. And then when they lose, they're silent and they dodge everything. Hell no, they're just celebrating. They're just celebrating. They actually find somebody for saying refs can't stop. The refs won't stop us.
The message is crystal clear. The WNBA is more interested in controlling the narrative than improving the league. They'd rather penalize players for pointing out problems than actually fix them. And they are willing to let Caitlin Clark's influence go to waste if it means maintaining bureaucratic control. It's the kind of short-sighted, authority-first thinking that explains why women's professional basketball has struggled for decades and why real change remains elusive under the current leadership.